Hey everyone, it's Zach with another episode of Hope for Master Ball. Now before we jump into the battles, I just want to say that yesterday I dropped a video that talked about replacements for Whimsicott when Series 6 comes around, and I wanted to know in the comments below, let me know who I should do next if I do another one of those videos. If I don't get any votes, I'm probably going to do Togekiss or Incineroar. I feel like it's easier to fill replacements in the support side of the competitive game rather than the big offensive ones that you can see like Excadrill and Venusaur. So let me know down in the comments below if you have a preference of who I should do next. Let me know. But anyways, we are going to jump into a battle with the Raichu Pincurchin team. As we know, with the Series 6 rule change, 3 of these Pokemon will not be allowed come September, so we're trying to get our fill of battles in with the team before it gets banished. I'll probably have one more episode after this, and then I will move on to the Charizard team until the end of the month. So while that's not going on during videos and stuff, I will be working on a Series 6 team. I'm torn between 2 teams, and I don't know who to go with. I'm trying to think of who would fit the best with what we're going to see. But right now, we do see our opponent's team. We're going to see Grimmsnarl, Bisharp, Amoonguss, Braviary, Primarina, and Colossal. So this is definitely a Series 6 team, and it's a scary one to see. Like, what answers do I have for Colossal? And I want to see, like, you see my front, and you probably lead Grimmsnarl, Bisharp. Raichu does have Surf. I think Togekiss will be a better fit, seeing that Amoonguss and the Grimmsnarl. It all depends on what they want to lead. Grimmsnarl and Braviary. So you went with the Dark type. You probably went for Fake Out Pressure, but we do bring the Psychic Terrain. So Grimmsnarl is going to be limited on what it can and cannot do. Our real thing here is, how do we hit this Braviary? I actually think a Max Darkness will be good, because then Expanding Force will do a lot more damage. And they're probably figuring that I'm going to just follow me. And I want to say that we might just see a Fake Out come out from Grimmsnarl into the Indeedee slot. So Braviary is actually going to protect. And you're going to set up the Reflect, so that's good on you. So we have changed into a Dark type, so we resist a Max Knuckle from Braviary right now. That did 15% damage. And unfortunately, we did give Braviary a Defiant boost, but we should outspeed it. So here this time I want a Dazzling Gleam with the special defense drop. And I want to max Airstream this time. We should be able to get good damage with the max Airstream. And with the Dazzling Gleam and the special defense drops, we might be able to get a knockout with Indeedee. Okay, and we actually don't need it. So Indeedee is going to get damage on the Grimmsnarl, and we still have one more turn of Dynamax to take advantage of. And that still does 50% damage through the light screen, so that special defense drop was really good. And here is the Colossal. So you can't priority move here. I don't want to hit the Colossal super effective immediately because I want to say we see a Protect come out, but I do want to lower its special defense. And there's the Primarina. So Colossal's going to Gigantamax, and it'll probably set Rocks off this turn. And there's the Max Guard. So you saw on my last turn of Dynamax. So we're +1 in speed. So here, I just want an Expanding Force. And I feel like doubling into it, now that we know that it's probably not going to be able to protect again. There's the Aqua Jet. We should have followed me. And the Weakness Policy. We still outspeed it though, so that's good. And we do a decent amount of damage, but we're probably losing our Cinderace here. And Cinderace actually survives. So as long as we survive the rocks, like, we should be able to live this. And the Expanding Forces, nothing. So we still have the Psychic Terrain, so we can't... We can't get hit by Aqua Jet here. Do you waste your last turn of Dynamax with a Max Guard? I'm going to say you don't. And you do. Okay, so good call. So there goes our Cinderace. But you know, it's really good that Colossal wasn't able to really take advantage of its max. So here I want to Rain back. So I'm just going to bring in Ferrothorn and Protect to see what they want to do. We're probably going to see an Ancient Power into the Togekiss and an Aqua Jet into the Indeedee. Rock Slide. Okay. So do you have Flamethrower or do you have Heat Wave? Here, I just want to try to get as much damage as I can into the Colossal. And I'm going to do that with a Dazzling Gleam and a Body Press. I don't feel like our Ferrothorn stays around much longer. And you're just going for Rock Slide, so you're more worried about the Togekiss. But you do activate our Weakness Policy. We do knock out the Colossal and we'll get a Body Press onto the Primarina. And Togekiss survives on one, but we're going to go down to the rocks. We don't get the Body Press off, unfortunately. So that was 3 turns of rocks. So we have one more. And here we're going to bring back in Indeedee, and we're really low, so this is going to be a hard one to do. But I think here we have to set up the end game for Ferrothorn. We are going to take a good amount from rocks, so the less we can... should I protect then? Let's protect the Ferrothorn and Dazzling Gleam. Okay, so you went into the Ferrothorn. We do get the Dazzling Gleam off. And that's not going to do much. The Hyper Voice is probably going to take out Indeedee with the combination of rocks. And we actually don't take rock damage. So here, I want to try the Leech Seed. They could just knock us out. That didn't do much, so... Hyper Voice. So as long as Hyper Voice does... Oh, and we survive on 5. So that's a big survive. So we're back up to 16 with leftovers. Back up to 35, and now we're going to protect. And get some more health back. Okay, so we're back up to 65. And here I want to body press the Primarina because the Grimmsnarl can only do a physical move. So it's going to take Iron Barb damage. And unless Primarina gets a crit, we should live this. Grimmsnarl goes down to the barbs. And a Moonblast. Oh, okay. And we survive on 9. Back up to 39. And we're just going to protect again. And the Leech Seed might be enough just to get the knockout. There we go. Okay, so not the most interesting match, but it's a really good play to set up a Ferrothorn endgame. We saw actually a decent amount of that in the Players' Cup finals that aired on Sunday. So I was actually really surprised that we were able to get Colossal in a situation where it wasn't doing Heat Wave. I would have to say that if I was a Colossal going against an in-game Ferrothorn, that would be my target, because Togekiss wasn't doing that much damage, even though you do have to worry about critical hits through Super Luck. And you gave me the weakness policy by Rock Sliding, so after doing that, I probably would have targeted down the Ferrothorn, because once the Colossal goes out of play, the Ferrothorn really, as you saw, lived so many times with less than 10 HP, but was able to bring it back from Leech Seed and leftovers and just being able to protect. So I think it was a well-played match. Let's go on and look for our next opponent. Okay, so we have our next trainer, Argy. And this is definitely a slower team, which is weird because that means Chandelure is your Trick Room setter. I want to... Scizor does have a priority move here, but I don't think it's enough to take out Raichu with one shot. So Amoonguss and Scizor. So Spore's going to be very ineffective here. I want to switch into Cinderace, because I want to say Scizor Sword Stances. And if it does send out a Bullet Punch, Cinderace is going to take it a lot better. And Amoonguss actually withdraws. So that means your Rhyperior is definitely Lightning Rod. Yeah. So here, both these Pokemon are very threatening. But I think here I want to Max Knuckle. And let's Sucker Punch. I should bring in Ferrothorn to start getting iron defenses. If I lose one of these mons, I think that's what I'll do. So who are you Dynamaxing here? It is the Scizor. So I wanted to Scald into Rhyperior, but I didn't want to give it a weakness policy. And you're actually going to max guard. We do change into a fighting type, so if Rhyperior does a Rock Slide or an Earthquake, we should be able to take it a little better. So you're going to use max Airstream, right? We're probably going to lose our Cinderace here. Unless we can get a burn. Well, a burn would probably activate weakness. Like if the Scald's going to activate weakness policy. Pincurchin survives on 1. We eat the berry. And we one-shot the Rhyperior with Scald Pincurchin. Alright, there you go, little man. Next up, we have Amoonguss. And what does Amoonguss have to do here but to Rage Powder? How many turns of terrain do I have? I have 2 turns of terrain. So I actually want to preserve the Pincurchin here. Especially with Ferrothorn in the back with these two, because Amoonguss can't do anything to Ferrothorn, and Blastoids probably can't either besides like an Ice Beam. We are able just to one-shot the Amoonguss there. And we see the Shell Smash. Most Blastoids are special defensive sets, so I think it's more effective here. And what are we? Do we have any speed? No. So what I want to do here is Sucker Punch and then go ahead and launch a Leech Seed just to chip this Blastoids down. Ooh, that is a critical hit. And Water Spout. So this is going to take out the Cinderace, but their Thorn just takes it. And actually at this point, with how low we are able to chip down the Blastoids, I really don't need to do anything else. I could protect the rest of the game and win off Leech Seed. Did terrain go down? Terrain went down. So I'll bring back Pincurchin just to reset the electric terrain. And here we just have a easy Raichu endgame, which is really surprising because Raichu usually goes down within the first 2 turns, but does so much damage that it's somewhat worth it. So we're going to go ahead and protect the Ferrothorn because we could see an Ice Beam and Sucker Punch. And Pincurchin gets 2 knockouts this game. I love it. So Pincurchin was definitely the MVP of this episode, getting one huge knockout, because that Rhyperior, if we wouldn't have one-shotted it, it probably would have been able to knock out the Cinderace, and as we saw, Cinderace really led the way into getting those critical knockouts on Scizor and Amoonguss, which really hampered their setup. And we saw they made a really good play with Lightning Rod in that last match, but I kind of predicted, not really necessarily it having Lightning Rod, but that possibility, and I knew that I should probably preserve the Raichu because it wasn't going to do as much from the Scizor. Even if the Amoonguss stayed on the field and did Rage Powder, it would have really hampered our damage output attacking into Amoonguss rather than Scizor, so it was just smart just to knock out, not to switch out into Cinderace, and it really helped us. But that critical hit, they expect us to stay a fire type, which is why they chose to Rock Slide, because if we would have stayed a fire type, it would have done super effective damage, which is why I chose to Max Knuckle that first turn of Dynamax. Even though we didn't get any damage, switching into the fighting type let us take that Rock Slide so much better, and that's why Cinderace is so good, because its type changes are not only offensive, but in a lot of cases can be defensive, where you can do an attack because you know that the type change is going to make you take attacks from your opponents better. But anyways, let me know down in the comments below how good Pincurchin is. Let me know down in the comments below who you want to see me do a replacement series next. This has been Zach. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.